Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about the first country that begins with the letter E, in English simplified name in alphabetical order, and one of the very first countries to technically become a country since the year 2000. Yeah, this country technically became a country when I was 3 years old. Yeah. How old am I? Well, we'll get there when we get there, I guess. But, anyways. Today we're going to talk about East Timor in the year of 1611. And you're probably wondering, where in the hell is East Timor? Well, it's over by Australia, a little north of Australia, but it's also very close to Indonesia, and kind of was part of Indonesia, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. So it was known as Portuguese Timor, since it was technically colonized by Portugal, from about the 1600s to about either 1975 or 2002, depending on how you look at it. The de facto was until 1975, but the de jure was 2002. And yeah, I was 3 years old in 2002, by the way. So you can easily find out what year I was born. And plus, I said on the channel multiple times of the year that I was born. But anyways, the capital was known as Lifau, spelled Lifau. Your pronunciation is about as good as mine. The leader was, well, it's technically one guy, but due to the circumstances of Portugal at the time, the same person is technically the king, but he technically has two different names and numbers depending on where you're counting from. So in Portugal, he is known as Philip II. But if you were to ask Spain about this guy, he would technically be known as Philip III, because this was during the time of the Iberian Union because of the Spanish succession crisis. And so Portugal and Spain had to briefly unify for quite a while, and that's how we get the Iberian Union. Form of government obviously was a monarchy. The official language, it was Portuguese, Indonesian, and Tetum, spelled Tetum. Tetum. I don't know if that's how you technically pronounce it, but I don't know. Religion, they were Catholic. Size, about 5,743 square miles. Population, I was technically unable to find the population, so I did a rough estimate. So I did about 3/4 of the current estimate, which is roughly around 750,000. Maybe. That might even be too high for that time frame, but I gotta throw out a number, at least a little bit. The flag of it, it's the current flag of Portugal, obviously on the thumbnail. The GDP and military, I was unable to find those, but it was best known for, and I kind of said it before, it was under Portugal for a long time, up until 1975, but for a brief moment from 1942 to 45, obviously World War II is going on, the war in the Pacific is really bad, and they get briefly occupied from 42 to 45 by Japan, until they were liberated again, either by US and or Australians, or just Australians, or they were kind of forced to give it up, after the war. And they eventually Portugal pretty much ruled under them until 1975, which was due to a invasion led by Indonesia in that same year. And then they gained independence from Indonesia in 2002. So technically, East Timor is technically about 24 years old. So yeah, this country is pretty much a Gen Z country. It's a Zoomer. It's a Zoomer country, if you want to be technical. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow. And we're gonna go back over to South America with Ecuador. We'll see you then.